Side Stadium as NPL Victorian football round 1 continues, and what a big game we've got for you. It is the National Premier League's game of the round, and it is against famous old rivalries in South Melbourne and Heidelberg United. Both sides are now out onto the pitch. We can quickly go through the starting lineups. It is Chris Theodorides in goal for Heidelberg, with a back four of Ruben Way, Lockie Barr, Les Dumbalis, Josh Wilkins, and in midfield it's Jack Petri, Adrian Zara, Dusan Bojnak. On the wings it's Sean Ellis and Lucas Derricks, with James Dimitru up top. Nick Harris, Arjun Fedahajic, Anthony Theodoropoulos, Harry Noon and Amir Abdullah on the bench. And for South Melbourne, it's Pierce Clark in goal, with Brad Norton, Stephen Fallen, Jake Marshall and Amadou Karoma the back four. In midfield, it's Daniel Clark, Liram Almazi and Jerry Salados. On the wings, Nick Krusaratis, Chris Irwin, and up top is Harrison Sawyer. And on the bench, it's Nikola Reganovic, Ben Gibber, Peter Skapetis, Zachary Bates and Melvin Beckett. My name is Chris Gleeson and welcome to the NPL Victoria streams. We're back once again this year with all games live and exclusive on the NPL social channels, and it's great to bring into commentary a very successful manager in his own right, Brandon Galgano, and a very familiar voice to the streams.
Chris, great to be back here, and as you said, it's absolutely brilliant to be back in the NPL and back into Victorian football again for 2020, the new decade. And as the new decade comes, old rivalries remain, and I think that tonight we certainly should be in for a cracker. Two really strong lineups. Very interestingly, Harry Noon starting on the bench for Heidelberg. I'd be interested to see if there's any theory behind that. Obviously, he's been such an important player over the last few years for them. But again, both sides have had some pretty decent form in pre-season, so really difficult to pick a winner at the moment.
And it's always hard to tell in these big rivalries. Doesn't matter where they are on the ladder. We saw that with South Melbourne going to Olympic Village and winning 3-0. They were 3-0 up after half an hour in that game, where South Melbourne were well out of contention of the top six at that stage. But as old rivalries are, anything can happen.
Yeah, look, I think that for South Melbourne last year was just such a difficult year, and it's sort of started, I think, in such a terrible way, and it just never really got better. And look, it'll be interesting to see now how the coach Esteban Quintas really turns this around. He's had a whole pre-season to work with this squad. He's brought in his players, and really this is a real telling point, I think, for the club after a difficult last few years.
And as with Heidelberg United, a new guard. Plenty of experience. Championship players have left the club in the off-season. It is Jack Morgan, the man with the whistle. And it's going to be South Melbourne versus Heidelberg.
Great start here. And again, Brad Norton out on the left-hand side. And he looks to get it long over the top. Sawyer, the big target man there, looks for a flick. And again, it just rolls on through to Chris Theodorides, who of course has been restored as the #1 goalkeeper this season. Chris, he had a difficult battle after going away for his honeymoon, to his credit, halfway through the year with Brendan White, who's now moved on with the Melbourne Victory. But again, it'll be interesting to see just how that pans out as he has the ball at his feet and looks forward to play it high and long over the top. Header underneath, it was Marshall initially. High boot there, surely raised, and there'll be a free kick here for South Melbourne.
It just shows that with semi-professional football, you go on your honeymoon and you can lose out on your starting spot. To his credit, White did an excellent job, and that saw him get the opportunity with Melbourne Victory. And South Melbourne get ready to take the free kick with Marshall. Harrison Sawyer, the big target man. Expect big things from South Melbourne's new number 9. Ball put forward by Fallen. Looks like Stephen Fallen might be playing in midfield. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just how they set this all up. I think that with Chris Irwin, looks like he's playing a little bit deeper in a central position as well. We've seen him drift between playing out on the wing and play in a central area, of course. So, again, actually growing up playing with him as a junior, he was a little bit more as a central midfielder. He branched a bit further out as a winger as he got older. But again, Stephen Fallen, another big signing. Will be interesting to see how he goes tonight in his debut. Well, he's played at quite a decent level. The Irish League is quite strong. We see quite a few players like Joe Guest in the lower leagues of England come over here and do well. And that's a much lower competition than the First Division in Ireland, especially being Irish champions for a few years in a row. Petri hooks it around the corner. Falls for Zara. Well, looking for Derricks. Marshall will cut that out. Now Sawyer jumps up, and Dumbalis has done well. Another one over the top from South Melbourne. Just anywhere will do for Wilkins.
Yeah, again, you can just see the pressure being applied here early on from both teams, and it'll be interesting to see if they can just get this ball down. South Melbourne now, as Karoma has a throw out on the right-hand side, just in front of the Heidelberg United bench. Of course, we are situated on the opposite stand tonight. Not a usual occurrence for us commentators. Again, you probably would expect a few more numbers in the crowd for a game like this so early in the season, as the ball comes out wide here to Ellis. Holds on to it and looks for the run of Wilkins above him. He does find him with a good pass as well. Norton backtracking, wasn't able to get there. Now Wilkins does get into the byline. He's got options in the middle, but it is blocked. Sent out for a corner. And an early sider there for Heidelberg United. You can see the willingness from Wilkins to overload his left-back opponent in Norton there, and he just couldn't quite deal with it. Good opportunity there for Heidelberg.
It was a great first touch to get him past Norton. Just couldn't find Dimitru in the box. Heidelberg now with the corner. Alice back post, too much on it, and that will curve away past the old Lakeside Stadium stand and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, another interesting one as well is Nikola Roganovic, of course, not preferred in goal. I know Piers Clark has been brought in, was formerly of the Dandenong Thunder, but again, an experienced goalkeeper. It's going to be interesting to see just how that battle pans out throughout the year. But again, you're going to see Heidelberg's intent early, looking to get it out wide and look to attack that full-back side.
Just remember, we are live on Facebook with all the comments that you want to send through to us. Let us know where you're watching from. A couple of weeks ago in the Community Shield, Alex Schiavo was watching his new club, Bentley Greens from Hawaii. So let us know where you're watching anywhere in the world as a high boot is penalised. Challenges flying in early, and just that little bit of drizzling rain helping things.
Yeah, well, we were just on the field as well as we walked across the ground, and we were just making the comment that it is a little bit fleet underfoot. It's quite a sort of soggy type of grass here. When it gets wet, it's a little bit chunky and can be a bit slippery. And again, it's something where the ground has held up pretty well. A few little divots here and there, but we can see now as South Melbourne can look to move the ball midfield, there's always plenty of space, especially out wide. And now it's Cruceratis, of course, back into the starting 11. Was out of favour towards the end of last year. Its ball's headed clear. Now it just goes out to the edge of the area, and Zara, of course, taking up his midfield role as he did for the majority of 2019 as well. Ball headed down, and again a chance to come forward through midfield. Is that a foul? It is. And Foley looks like he will be playing that sort of anchor role tonight, just not allowing him to drive forward through midfield, and gives away the free kick.
They've got that versatility, South Melbourne, because Liro Malmazi can play that position as well, as he's done on occasions with Altona. Scored a long-range goal from that position last year. One of the goals of 2019 NPL season. The ball goes out for a throw. It's a big year for Jack Petri as well as Nick Cruceratis. Both didn't have the greatest 2019, but we know the quality of both those players. Petri, in fact, was sent off halfway through the season with a pretty nasty challenge on Kostas Stratomitros, and saw him see red in the Heidelberg United's Olympic Village derby.
Yeah, look, he was someone that was interesting. He did fall out of favour a bit as well, considering he's been such a mainstay for so long. As this ball comes over the top, and the goalkeeper is quickly out to clear. It'll be a throw for Heidelberg. And look, again, Jack Petri is the type of player who really can just keep the ball ticking in midfield. His distribution is very good. He's more of a deep-lying playmaker. He's not the most physical of midfielders, but he certainly can dictate the tempo of a game, and it's something which they'll be looking for a lot out of him in that regard. As we see a throw in here for Heidelberg United. Long ball into the area. They have always used that to good effect. Les Dumbalis known for having a long throw. Now potential break here. Could be a foul. Referee has brought it back. Good refereeing there. Waited for the advantage to be played. It wasn't given. And a free kick now for South Melbourne in a quite advanced position where they can just get themselves on the ball and be a bit more comfortable.
Yeah, the new captain, Ruben Way, was quickly to run away from Jack Morgan there as the counter-attack was on for South Melbourne. And South Melbourne now get this free kick in the defensive half. It's been a weird day in Melbourne, over close to 30 degrees, real muggy, and then the rain's come and cooled things down. It's Marshall looking for Sawyer, gets the flick on, goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, you're right. The weather's certainly lived up to Melbourne's reputation today. I think I was out at around lunchtime just at the office, and had a bite to eat. It was like 32, 33 degrees. It was warm. You're sort of sweating as you're sitting there. And then all of a sudden you get back in the office and it was literally raining sideways by the time I got back in. And look, again, it does make for a bit more of an exciting game of football potentially, but certainly hasn't been the standard Australian summer this year.
Yeah, brilliant. Beautiful Melbourne, 4 seasons in the one day. Sawyer tried a little backheel flick that didn't come off and out for a throw.
Of course, it will be interesting to see how both of these sides start the game tonight as well. As we said, a little bit nervy first game of the season, both coming off completely different campaigns. Of course, Heidelberg so successful in 2019. We'll be coming into this with so much confidence, having won the minor premiership. Unfortunate to lose out in the final series, but it will be interesting to see how they react tonight as Norton does come forward. Potential foul there on Chris Aratis, not given. Now a chance to come forward here and just tackled well there, and it will be a throw.
Full commitment from Almazi. And they have lost the twin towers at the back that have really held Heidelberg together, and Stephen Pace and Luke Biles. Almazi again with a strong challenge, comes away with it. Sawyer doing a mountain of work early, and he's done well there to start, open up the field for South Melbourne. Salados, early ball in across the box, and in the end it's Lockie Barr who puts it out for a corner.
Yeah, that's again, you can just see the transition moment there. Really, really effective. Sawyer holding the ball up and then just turning inside. You can see the midfield has so much space to attack. That's something which Heidelberg really have to be wary of, because South Melbourne have so much mobility in there with Chris Irwin, with Jerry Salados and a few others, where they can really break quickly through midfield, and that space there to create that wide overload is really dangerous. And again there, a good opportunity and a good delivery into the box as well.
It's going to be Daniel Clark, another new signing for South Melbourne, coming over from local rivals Port Melbourne, and with a left-footed outswinger. Ball comes in, still in the box, and Zara gets it away. As Karoma fights for it, in the end it goes out for a throw that Heidelberg will take.
Again, the big thing for Heidelberg tonight, as everyone would know, the mainstays of that back four, Luke Biles and Stephen Pace, for so long. Of course, both have moved on now. Both are now playing their trade, I believe, at Caroline Springs George Cross in State League 1. And again, look, it's something which is going to take a bit of time. As you said, we've got Dumbalis coming in at centre-back. We've got Barr as well across on the other side. And it's going to take time to make up for those two. And that's something which, with a big target like Harry Sawyer for South Melbourne, certainly look to ask questions as the ball's released out wide there to Ellis. It does go out for a throw.
We've seen that a few times where Les Dumbalis, most notably playing as a left back, but he's quite a small centre back at the moment. Arjun Fedahadzic is on the bench for Heidelberg. They've gone for Heidelberg experience for the derby to start, and it is Dumbalis to find Ruben Way. Good ball through the middle. Now they can work for Lucas Derrick. Can he find a cut back? In the end, Marshall with a strong challenge and sees it out for a corner.
Yeah, good movement there again from Heidelberg. You're going to see them patiently building up through midfield, and Lucas Derrick, another one with so much speed, and that is something which they do have in abundance in that front three. Of course, Sean Ellis isn't as quick, but very nimble, cutting inside and driving at goal. It is a good opportunity here for Heidelberg. Could be a chance to whip a ball in, a few numbers in the box.
The zonal marking from South. Cross comes in over everybody else, and that'll again go out this time for a throw, but a couple of overhit corners from Heidelberg.
Yeah, that early delivery is just going to be so important. As we said, you know, in the first few games of the season, a little bit nervy, those set-piece opportunities are really critical in terms of trying to just create those early chances to go ahead.
Snorton throws it in. It will be Petri trying to get it forward, and South just clear it up the pitch and finds Theodorides. Ruben Way, South Melbourne. Wait for Heidelberg to get into their attacking half before trying a press, and a pass goes out for a throw.
Yeah, again, Ruben Way, interesting decision as captain. It'll be interesting to see just how he pulls through. He's been here for a while, such an important player, very good technically, and again can score goals, can defend. As the ball's thrown in there and just flicked on there, over the top by Salados, and now Sawyer comes up for the header, but wasn't quite able to get it down. Now Zara just picking the ball up in midfield again. Giving away that time though, and a long ball over the top, and Chris Aratis will be onto that. And there's one-on-one with his defender here in Wilkins. He just holds it up and Goes back here to Norton. He's always so dangerous with this delivery into the box. Sawyer looked like he lost his footing, comes to the edge of the area. The shot blocked and comes out again here to Lucas Derrick. Goes all the way back to his fullback in Way, who's cleared and maybe cleaned up a little bit after. The ball goes out for, well, looks like it'll be a free kick. But again, that ball into the box from Brad Norton, something which was so successful for South Melbourne in the era of the Milos Lujic times, of course, and something which they haven't been able to replace there. You can see early on, they're looking for that early delivery into the big man. Just lost his footing that time, but could be something which is very dangerous tonight.
It's also the type across too. Norton a couple of times has gone for that little clip, then trying to really curl it with any venom into the box, just trying to give Sawyer that chance to jump and beat his defender, especially at the back post against Les Dumbalis. As Theodorides restarts play. In the middle, it's headed away. Clark hooks it over the top. Cruceratus is onside. Has to wait for the bouncing ball that Lachlan Barr did well, and Les Dumbalis clears. Marshall has mopped up everything that's come to him so far in this game. And now it's Norton once again. Chance to get another cross in, looking for Sawyer. Theodorides back post, and it goes wide off Jerry Salados. He didn't know much about it. The ball got through the goalkeeper's hands, and South Melbourne very close to getting the opener.
Well, that was just what we were talking about, that early delivery in from Brad Norton. And even though Harry Sawyer didn't quite get contact on it, he's still causing so many problems in there with his size and physicality. Fantastic cross, and that clip delivery is which Brad Norton has always been a specialist with. And especially if you've got a big, strong target man in there who's good in the air, so easy for them to attack as well. And you've got to say, Jerry Salados, he's got to finish that in there at the back post. But again, a great opportunity there for South Melbourne to take the lead.
Could hear the gasp of the crowd, just hoping that it was going to drop into the net. Fortunately for the Heidelberg supporters, it's gone wide. Now it's Wilkins to throw the ball back in. Petri is the target. Clark battles with him, and they get it clear through Folan. Sawyer just trying to move the ball forward, but coming across is Petri. Now Theodorides will go with the left foot.
Yeah, shallow clearance as well. Now it's Salados who turns inside. Good little nutmeg as well. He's brought down. Play goes on though, advantage and a good chance to deliver here for Karoma. And that's a poor cross into the back post, and it's gone out for a goal kick. And again there you can just see a poor clearance there from Chris Theodorides, and South Melbourne right onto that, looking to break quickly and really bombing their fullbacks on tonight as well. You just have to be disappointed with that delivery in there from Amadou Karoma, because he's got time and space to measure the cross, and he's really just fluffed his lines with the ball into the area. But again, good break from South Melbourne. That's where they're looking dangerous at the moment in transition.
They do. They've got that real pace in the attacking third to South Melbourne. You can see them sitting back in their own half a little bit, and when they win the ball, you see the likes of Cruceratus really moving quickly. A few times they've found him with that long ball over the top.
Yeah, look, again, that speed out wide is something which has always been a staple of their play. Salados on one side, you've got Cruceratus on the other. They are starting quite narrow as well. They're encouraging their fullbacks to get around them, and again, just gives them that extra option for a delivery into the box as well. But certainly, looking probably the better side of the two early on in this game.
So 15 minutes here at Lakeside Stadium. This real traditional derby, the real Greek derby here in Victorian football. Ball headed away by Almazi. Petri fights for it and chittled the ball well and looks to bring the ball forward. Bosnak looking for Derricks, and out comes and sliding and eventually gathering is Pierce Clark.
Well, goal kept there and off his line quickly. Now looking just to distribute potentially. See another habit here from South Melbourne, looking for the first option to play out. Which is something which they didn't do too much of last year. And Clark puts the ball down and goes high and long forward towards Sawyer. Headed down was a strong one, and he's controlled it really nicely there for Salados against Sawyer, but cut time there, not really able to keep the ball in play. But you can just see again, South, they're looking to get that delivery straight in towards the chest of Sawyer. If they can't play through midfield, at head height, he's very good at controlling the ball down with his back to goal. And again, they're unfortunately not able to keep it.
It has been a little bit of time since Harrison Sawyer's played league football with his club in the Philippines folding, and now has a chance for Irwin. Goes from range, it's in front of Theodorides, but straight at him, he makes the save.
Yeah, good save again there. And Chris Irwin, he's always good at being able to get forward and maybe get a strike on goal. Theodoridis with some good hands there to hold on to it, and now just looks again for a potential ball over the top, and like his counterpart on the other side, goes long with his feet. Flick on there that time towards Marshall, but he gets the clearance, the central defender. Now chased down on that outer side. And some good work there to clear it away. Up the line and flicked down by Derek. Now potentially a chance in midfield. Strong tackle in there from Almazi, and it will be a Heidelberg throw.
That's 4 full commitment tackles so far from Liram Almazi. I do believe he's one of the most talented centre-backs in this league. A really good get coming from Altona. Lachlan Barr coming from NPL South Australia in the Heidelberg number 13. Most famously worn for a long time by former club captain and real club legend Luke Biles. The ball trickles out for another throw. Of course, NPL Victoria kicked off last night where the Oakley Cannons recorded a 3-1 victory against Avondale. Two sides that, I'm not sure about you, but I definitely believe will be challenging for the Premier's Plate this year. Yeah,
look, it was by all means a cracker of a game last night, and unfortunately the sending off of Stefan Zinni maybe hindered a bit of the spectacle. It was, I thought, in my opinion, quite a harsh decision, but again, it was unfortunate for Avondale. But you've got to say, for Oakley's credit, they looked really sharp last night, and Joe Guest at his absolute best again. As that ball goes out for a throw, and he's going to be so important for them again this year, of course, winning the NPL Player of the Year last year, and was just so impressive for that whole campaign in turning around what was such a terrible start for Oakley. Just got to think if they can start off strong this year and they can maintain that form throughout the year, could be huge for them if they can maintain throughout the season.
Will be Wilkins. To line up a big throw into the box. Cleared away. Edge of it. Alice trying to find room to get his left foot to it. And there's a linesman with a flag on the far side. So the offside flag has gone up. Dusan Bojnak over in the box. There was significant claims for a penalty. Yeah, look, I think that it was maybe some half-hearted shouts there, but I think he was already in an offside position. Dusan Bojnak. Again, another signing coming in here. Of course, Tom Cahill, another experienced Heidelberg United player who departed at the end of last season. Now it's Almazi who looks high and long towards Sawyer again. Great flick through there for Chrysaridis now. If he can get there first ahead of Wilkins, he shoots. But Theodoridis with some good hands. And again, you can just see there that quick break. And Sawyer, really intelligent target man play. And just wasn't able to quite get the connection on the shot or maybe zip it across the face. But a good little break there again from South Melbourne on the counter. Well, it might have taken a little bit of time, but it seems like South Melbourne have found quite a capable number 9 again. It was a very late challenge going in there on Lucas Derrick from Stephen Folan. Yeah, the curse of the number 9. It's been a tough one, of course, since the departure of Milos Luch, such a pivotal figure in the success of this club in the mid-2010s. And again, didn't quite get that mix right last year at Sawyer. Potentially could be an ample replacement. Heidelberg play it long. James Dimitru, the target, trying to hold it up, and South Melbourne get it in. And he's the one with Top Cat, Tommy Cahill, one of the other veteran players leaving this Heidelberg lineup. It's James Dimitru's got a big job to do. He most famously did score and play 3 games for Whittlestone in the UK, which is famous for the "you've got no fans, you want some, I'll give it to you," the Whittlestone Raider. So, no, he's. I remember him having a decent cup run as well a few years ago with Blacktown. I believe he scored against Western Sydney, or maybe with Sydney FC in one of those games as well. So he's had a bit of pedigree in New South Wales, of course, before venturing into Europe. He was on the books of Nottingham Forest and Swansea without recording any senior games. There's the big crossfield ball. Well, in fact, a foul's going to be here on Alice for a late challenge. Yeah, there's been a few of those so far. Another one who was rumoured to maybe have moved on in the off-season was Sean Ellis, but luckily for Heidelberg, they maintained his services. Another one who's been so important last year, of course, famous for scoring that winning goal in stoppage time against Avondale, which secured the minor premiership out at Avenger Park. And Herbert Rockya who's letting us know he's watching in from Brazil.
This is so great to see the NPL broadcasted around the world. And Dumbalis looks up with a high ball over the top again, being quite directive, Heidelberg so far. Again, it's half cleared and up and under. Last 5 or so minutes, it has been very much a game of aerial ping-pong between both sides as Barr gets the header down and away goes from Ruben Way. No pun intended there as the ball comes out for Karoma on the right-hand side, and he has his pocket almost picked there by Lucas Derrick, but well reset into midfield now, and South Melbourne can come forward through Almazi. Pull forward there to Chris Aratis. He's got an option out wide in central first in Foley. Then he hits Salados early, and they've got an overload here potentially with Chris Irwin. Gets out onto that right-hand side. Again, the delivery just off there for South Melbourne. The ball goes out for a goal kick. Some promising signs. But again, that final ball just lacking.
And just numbers in the box there a couple of times that Sawyer's made that position and just been fired over his head out for a goal kick. There's really good build-up play there from South Melbourne. Combination from the back with Almazi, Cruceratus and Stephen Folan switching play to Salados.
Yeah, that quick transition has been something which, again, we've seen so effective. I find it interesting as well. Chris Irwin, he's sort of drifting around in that midfield role and trying to get himself out wide and support those two wide players who actually are sort of coming in quite narrow. Again, great overload there to create that chance to cross.
Balls with Folan over the top again. Barr, as you said, it really has been aerial ping-pong. Now it's Alice. The ball will be picked up by Zara. Barr's touch almost let him down, but he's able to find his goalkeeper. Now Norton wins the header. Petri back in and Folan. Flicked on there from Clark, and here goes Harrison Sawyer. Managed to get it back to Clark on the left foot. And a couple of sliding plays there for Heidelberg. And eventually they get it out.
Yeah, again, the big man, Harrison Sawyer, just throwing his weight around really up there and just causing problems. Shot was blocked that time as it's thrown in there quickly to Cruceratis. Stuck in a corner between two players, but smartly plays it off Wilkins, and it will be a corner. And well, it will be interesting tonight just to see how South Melbourne, or Heidelberg rather, can just accommodate that aerial presence up top. As we said, Les Dumbalis, he's not a physical central defender. He's not overly tall as well, so something that there is a little bit of a mismatch between the two. Just be interesting to see how they handle that presence of Harrison Sawyer as this corner kick is about to be delivered.
Once again, it's Daniel Clark. Back post delivery. It's going to be a free header, but the ball goes down into the ground. South Melbourne through Irwin, trying to slide it through. Zamazi, a sliding challenge, and the referee allows it to continue as players fall over everywhere. Dumbalis finds some space. Lucas Derrick, and this time the foul's been given.
Yeah, as we said again, that transition moment out of the back for Heidelberg, just not really able to break through the midfield line of South Melbourne on the ground. Les Dumbalis, he is a little bit more comfortable on the ball than your normal central defender. You see they're trying to play himself out of trouble, and a good foul was won. Now will be a free kick here for Heidelberg as Theodoridis steps across. 25 and a half minutes gone here. No real clear-cut chances for either side. I'd say that the half chance at the back post from Salados earlier in this half should have been a goal for South Melbourne, but the high ball over the top, and Ellis gets it down under pressure there from Norton. And he just gave it a little bit of a tug, and it will be a South Melbourne free kick.
We just go around the grounds too. 15 minutes played. Not too far away from here at J.L. Murphy Reserve. It is Port Melbourne 0, Melbourne Knights 0. So yet to have a goal in the early stages of Friday night NPL Victoria football. Salados, trickery. Found Karoma, crosses it in. Dumbalis gets it away. The clearing ball's going to find its way to Sean Ellis. James Dimitriou's going to make the run, and the ball's going to bend just away from him and allow Almazi to come back and clear.
And again, just looking for that quick ball in behind to Dimitriou. It's interesting seeing the movement between Bosniak and Dimitriou. It looks like on the counter and on the break, Dimitriou is getting above the large target man that Bosniak is, but when the ball's deeper in and set, Bosniak seems to be situating himself a little bit higher to receive the ball as Ellis comes forward there. Well blocked off though by Cruceratis and Irwin, who plays forward to feet there, and Sawyer, who turns but just couldn't quite keep the ball in play. And that movement between the two, as you can see, seeing if Petri looks to get in behind and Bosniak just sits in behind him. It'll be interesting to see just how they can try and create some space between themselves.
Well, Dusan Bosniak, over quite a few years of the NPL, has shown that he can be one of the most exciting players in this league. The move to Altona didn't work out as well as he would have hoped. But what a player he's been for Oakley for many years. Beckett finds Salados over the top for Clark to try to chase, but again it's ill directed, and that's going to run onto the running track.
Yeah, I'd like to see both sides maybe take a little bit more risks in possession in just trying to keep the ball. At the moment, it is very much crash and bash and long balls over the top, and look, it is something which we have been used to seeing arguably from both sides over the last few years. But again, it's just something where if either side can really just get control of this game and dictate the tempo a little bit better. And there will be a throw here for South Melbourne as Roma stands over the ball.
James Dimitri wasn't going to give the ball back to him. Just stood in front of it, allowed Marshall to finally get it back to Amadou Karoma. Again, it's a battle in midfield and Marshall attacks it well. Clark with a good first touch. Things are opening up for South Melbourne, and Clark, in the end, tried to go on his own and puts that well over the top.
Yeah, again, Daniel Clark, he's someone who's a bit more of a physical number 10. He's able to drive really well on the ball, and he's quite quick in behind into feet, but he's also quite powerful. That time there, he just got that little snippet of space. Again, just couldn't quite keep the shot on target.
We must apologise if there's any Melbourne Knights or Port Melbourne fans that have jumped on our stream because theirs wasn't working, but at JL Murphy Reserve, the stream is up, back and running. I do apologise. A few little technical issues. South Melbourne. Battle in midfield. Irwin stepped away from it. And it's going to open things up for Heidelberg if Alice can keep this in play, which he can. He's got Wilkins. He's found a bit of room to cross, and the header from Derricks. Lucas Derricks opens the scoring for Heidelberg. What a cross it was into the box, and the attack from the winger gets the header and it creeps into the corner, and Heidelberg take the lead here at Lakeside.
Great delivery there, and we said it a little bit earlier, Heidelberg were looking dangerous, releasing and overloading that right-hand side between their fullback and their winger and Sean Ellis, and that time there, Wilkins just got himself in a little bit of space, and a great little reverse cross as well on his left-hand side. And Lucas Derrick, well, he's a dangerous player in the final third, and he's not really accustomed to being an aerial threat, but it's a really well-taken header from the former Melbourne Victory youth winger. And again, that's the start that Heidelberg would have wanted tonight. And South Melbourne certainly under some pressure now.
They've had their chances to get a decent cross into the box, South Melbourne. Heidelberg get that chance, and Lucas Wilkins done the job. Clark on his way through. The touch off his chest was a little bit heavy, and he's ended into the new signage here at Lakeside Stadium.
Yeah, some smart play from Chris Theodoridis there, and almost looked like for half a second they might have been able to respond, but you've got to say South Melbourne started off positively, had some half chances, as we said a little bit earlier, but they've just gone away from looking to actually keep the ball and just really getting sucked into the really direct style of plays. It looks like Sean Ellis might have a little bit of blood here on his head.
Jack Morgan, the man in the middle, allows him to be tended on the sidelines. But I must admit, it seems a bit dangerous to have these advertising hoardings so close to the touchline. It could only be a metre from the touchline to that. And as we saw with Clark running through it, but if a player runs that and he's not sliding, he could easily go over the top of that and onto that running track that is behind there, or is it the discus net?
You're certainly not wrong. It is very close, and unfortunately it's an Nath's track underneath it as well, as the ball's played over the top. Strong header from Ruben Waite, and Marshall gets up with a good strong header again. Down it goes into midfield, and Derrick Oh, blocked off there by Chris Irwin. Now Chris Aratis back to Norton. Just clips the ball over the top there, looking for the run of Irwin, who heads it down into his path. And one-on-one here with Barr, who gets a half block on the cross. And then ends up hoofing the ball away out for a throw. But there is an indication from the linesman it was over the touchline, so it will be a corner kick here. No, South Melbourne, another chance from set piece. And this is something which they haven't delivered well so far, considering the targets they've got in the box. So this will be a good opportunity here to potentially get themselves level before the break.
So Lachlan Barr really didn't read that line. He expected the ball to spin back, but it went out of play before he was able to clear it. Going against Daniel Clark, who's had a couple of shots in anger from range. It will be his delivery. Cross comes in, and attacking it was Almazi at the back post. Header didn't go towards goal, and Heidelberg clear it here. Zara. Challenge from behind was well timed by Chris Irwin. And Heidelberg get the throw.
Doing well so far is Chris Irwin in midfield. He's running hard and just looking to cover as much ground as possible. Again there, just not allowing Heidelberg to get themselves forward into an attacking position. Will be a throw here for Wilkins, and Sean Ellis is still off there receiving treatment as well. Now they're indicating to the referee that should be ready to almost get back onto the field. It looks like he copped a knock in the lead up potentially to that goal. Now Jack Morgan is waving for play to continue, so it's taken over the top. Almazi with the clearance. Now headed away there by Wilkins, and just in time, Sean Ellis will return to the field. It will be a South Melbourne throw.
This goes out as a few people messaging in. Anthony's watching from London. Ball comes across, fallen. Into the path of Cruceratus, who has swapped wings with Salados. Comes back to Stephen Fallen. Irwin. And Jerry Salados. Early cross in. It always was going to bend towards Theodorides, and he collects. Yeah,
collected well there. And again, it's not too uncommon, obviously, to see the wingers exchanging sides just to maybe mix up a chance to get themselves into the game. And Salados is someone who's very dangerous at cutting inside, as Sean Ellis is walking himself back on the field. Now Jack Morgan's going across, just having a word with his fourth official. Maybe about George Katsakis. He's looking quite, well, as always, animated on that touchline.
Yeah, George is never shy in letting the fourth official know his opinion. Esteban Quintus is quite eccentric in his hands movements on the bench and encouraging his side, who, after having a bright start, has found themselves behind on that Lucas Derrick header.
Ball there again and headed down. Now a chance here for Bosniak. This is the area where he likes to play. He hasn't really had the ball so much in the final third. Good little flick there back by Derrick though, and Bosniak into the box now. Looks to cut inside, but in the end it's cleared high up and under again, way underneath it, but goes out for a throw, and they're the areas which I want to get Bosniak on. A great little flick through there from Lucas Derrick. Just unlucky with the final ball, but Heidelberg will just be wanting to try and get those likes of those players on the ball around the box and looking to create.
Well, it's going to be Lucas Derrick to bring it forward once again. So quick with his feet and trying to go past players. It's clipped forward. Zara's got the ball for Heidelberg to, in the end, try to bring it back to the middle. Petri can't get there, and in the end it's Wilkins. He gets it back. Stumbalis with a big switching ball looking for Alice. Norton heads it into the path of Alice, who'll get the strike away. It's deflected up and over, but he made good contact.
Yeah, again, that's where Sean Ellis is in his element there. Just cutting in with a bit of space around the edge of the box. That time there it was well blocked off, but Heidelberg just starting to get a little bit more joy in receiving and getting the ball in areas where they can hurt South Melbourne. There's going to be a corner here, and Sean Ellis, he's very dangerous with his set-piece delivery. He's got a few targets to aim for as well, and he whips the ball in towards the near post. Strong header clear, falls out to Petri. It was always a bit of an ambitious effort there, leaning back, and a very difficult shot on goal. But in the end, it flies over the top and out for a goal kick.
Well, I've only ever seen him score from that range once, and it was one of the best goals I've ever seen against Avondale when they were playing at Knight Stadium back in the day. He's made a good start. It's Jack Petri.
As I said, it will be interesting just to see where Harry Noon slots in, coming in. A great person to bring off the bench. Get him in around midfield or in the final third.
He's just had a few little niggles in pre-season is the reason why he's on the bench today.
Good ball into the box as well. And you just see Theodoridis there doing quite well to just stand his ground now. I think he started to just get a little bit more of a run on these balls into the box, especially around the head of Sawyer. You can just see here now, just calming, a bit of a calming presence. One of the more experienced goalkeepers in the NPL now, Chris Theodoridis. Been around for a good many years. Won a championship with Northcote back in the early 2010s before moving on here to Heidelberg. And looks like it's just going to be a free kick there as well.
Scored a high boot. Really not to be penalised with any card. We did see a red card to Stefan Zini for Avondale last night, which for a high boot. Made things difficult for the Avengers, who were already 1-0 down at that stage. From Ryan Pachkowski's early opener. On the midfield. Petri heads it away. Bosnak trying to move it forward. Folan put his head in danger's way, and that saw him win the ball back. Pierce Clark, who South Melbourne have really high hopes for to be that number one. It's been another issue where Nikola Reganovic has come back to the club a few times after retirement, a bit like John Farnham. Just when you think it's the end for him, he continues for another season. It's good to see him on the bench, but they have high hopes of Pierce Clark, who did have a good season at Dandenong Thunder, even when his defence really let him down.
Yeah, look, it was always difficult there, I think, last season, and especially as a goalkeeper, you're almost at the mercy a lot of the time to how your team is performing, but it also does give you, I guess, a little bit more of a chance to make a name for yourself, and Pierce Clark certainly didn't do himself any harm last year. There's a long ball over the top from Theodoridis. Derek gets it under control quite well. He looks really sharp tonight so far, Lucas Derek. The ball comes through inside there again, cleared away, Sawyer. Not able to control it that time. Karoma now with the flick back into midfield. And this is where South Melbourne are dangerous. On the break with a bit of space to move in. Irwin gets it wide. Salados just drops into the space there. Finds Norton. Now the ball played forward there to Irwin. Norton driving inside as well. Just couldn't quite find him. Now a chance for Heidelberg to break. And Sean Ellis under some pressure. Did he foul Salados? Referee said no. Again, Salados here coming forward. He tries to slip it inside towards Irwin. Wilkins gets back. Cleared away there by Theodoridis. And that will be a free kick there for South Melbourne. And again, just not quite able to break into that final third. Well defended there by Heidelberg, but a good opportunity again here off the set piece.
And Bosnak just with a little bit of a needless push into the back as Stephen Folan was about to step onto that ball, but they do have this set-piece opportunity.
Ball whipped into the area, and that time they're held well. And you just got to say again, Chris, the delivery of these set pieces really disappointing, I think, there. And Theodoridis had an easier time than he should have with that. So the ball comes into Petri. The pressure there from Sawyer, almost won it back. Now a chance here to come forward through the middle again, and it's Lados. Whips in towards the back post. That's a better ball in, and Chris Aratis just couldn't quite get there. In the end, it just goes out for a goal kick, and again, Jerry Salados, dangerous when cutting inside onto his right and looking to whip that ball into the back post. Just couldn't quite find the run of Chris Aratis there. But again, Heidelberg United maybe escaping a little bit easier than they should have with that final ball into the box.
Now we get another goal kick here for Theodoridis as we approach the final 5 minutes of the half. Almost half an hour played at JL Murphy Reserve. It is 0-0 between Port Melbourne and the Melbourne Knights, and also in the A-League tonight. It is still 0-0. It's between Adelaide United and Central Coast Mariners halfway through the first half, as a couple of big games of Australian football tonight. Clark. Now South look to move the ball forward. Krosaratis was almost onto it, but reaching in and getting it clear was Dumbalis. And in the end, another foul in midfield. As the fans are getting quite vocal and really into this game, riding every challenge as they've done for so many years. Two traditional powerhouses, both national champions in the past.
Now a good chance here for South Melbourne to try and break. And Irwin, good ball. Salados into the area here. This is where they need a good delivery or a shot, but Theodoridis covered his near post really well. And that time he just is able to leap onto the second ball. Well, again there, a little bit more joy, just releasing in that wide area. And Jerry Salados, he had almost too much time, I think, to weigh up whether he was going to whip that ball in low across the box or have a shot. In the end, he just couldn't quite catch Theodoridis out, but good little chance there for South Melbourne.
He did see Theodoridis moving towards Harrison Sawyer, who was making good position in the box, and tried to just creep it into that near post. In the midfield, Lucas Derrick with a pretty neat, agile turn. Now Wilkins out wide for Heidelberg. Lucas Derrick continues the run. It's his goal that separates the two sides, and a late challenge. This time Almazi doesn't time it right, and he will see a yellow card.
Yeah, smart play there from Lucas Derrick. He knew he was in a corner. He knew he didn't really have any options, so just a sharp little movement of his body to just clip the ball past the rushing challenge of Almazi. I think there in the corner, it's always a pet hate of mine as a goalkeeper or as a coach, giving away fouls in these types of areas, because he's in a corner there. He's not really able to affect too much of the game. All your job should be there is just don't allow a ball to come into the box. But now, a really good opportunity for Heidelberg to do just that. They've got plenty of numbers forward as well. And Sean Ellis can look up here and potentially deliver. Now you can just see South Melbourne defending quite resolutely here. Sawyer at the front of that box, tries to get it over towards the back post, but, well, it stayed inside. Well, it looked like it had gone out there almost. In the end, it rolls out to the back, and now Wilkins, under pressure, goes long and high over the top to Ellis, who gets the ball down, looks to cut in on his left again. Goes inside and clips another dangerous ball in towards the back post. But bread and butter for the goalkeeper, Piers Clark. And he'll look to quickly restart this attack with South Melbourne.
I think Sean Ellis has had too many wheat picks this morning. That's 4 overhit crosses for him. Ball falls into midfield, and here goes Chris Irwin. Can't find the right pass. It's cut out. Ruben Way to Derrick. Midfield back to Petri. As Heidelberg slow the game down. Theodoridis pretty ill-directed. Just needed a little bit more composure at the back there by Heidelberg. That's one thing that they're going to have to try to adjust to with life without Stephen Pace and Luke Biles. Salados to Irwin. Good combination play in the early cross into the box. He's deflected out for a corner.
Yeah, again, some good little football exchanges there from South Melbourne, and Irwin, as we said, he's been buzzing around. But Heidelberg defending resolutely there, not allowing that ball into the box, and got to hope for, again, as we've said a number of times, a better delivery here as we're right into the final moments of this first half. Ticking just into the 45th minute now, as there's going to be a chance for Daniel Clark to whip this ball into the box. He's got a number of targets again in there. The likes of Sawyer, Marshall. Sawyer's just been edging to get on the end of one of these. Ball whipped in towards the back post, and Sawyer is there. In the end, it's going to be out for a goal kick. Still throwing his weight around, just couldn't quite get himself underneath that, and will be out for a Heidelberg ball.
Well, he was given free rein to just run into the back post then and attack the ball. Nobody's going to beat him in the air if he's been given the chance to run and jump at it. So we're close to half-time here at Lakeside Stadium. It's been a pretty physical battle in very slippery conditions. Lucas Derrick, his goal separates the sides. Petri heads it away. Over the top, and miscued clearance. Sawyer. In the end, they had enough players, Heidelberg, to get it clear. And Jack Morgan's going to blow for half-time here at Lakeside Stadium.
Yeah, short interval there, and didn't quite have much to be added on at the end of that first half. But to be honest, Chris, I think it was quite a dull affair there for most of that. Well, pretty much the remainder after the first 20 minutes started pretty fast. Again, South Melbourne just not really able to recover as well as they would have liked after going behind. They had a few half chances earlier, but just haven't really been able to break Heidelberg down. But to the visitors' credit, they took their chance really well themselves. They haven't really created too much in their own final third, but when they did there, a great ball into the back post. And Lucas Derrick, who's probably been one of the live sparks of the game so far, really getting the end of that with a fantastic headed finish to give Heidelberg the lead.
Well, it's two former Melbourne City players who played at Northcote a couple of years ago, Tadetta and Lucas Derrick, and Jerry Salados with the chances. Lucas Derrick's 30-minute goal separates the sides, but Jerry Salados did have a great opportunity in this first half as well. Half-time at Lakeside Stadium. It is South Melbourne 0, Heidelberg United 1.
Hello and welcome back to this round one NPL Victoria blockbuster here between South Melbourne and Heidelberg United. Two sides with fierce history. And at the moment, it's the Burgers with the lead going into the break. A Lucas Derrick goal midway through the first half sees the champions, well, the minor premiers from last year. We can't really call them champions in the context of the NPL, of course, of the final series, but the minor premiers from 2019 lead against their old foe. And myself, Brandon Galgano, and with me here is Chris Gleeson. And Chris, as we saw in that first half, it was maybe not as high quality as we could have or maybe hoped for in terms of some of the chances created. But Heidelberg at the moment doing what they do best and taking their chances, defensively very solid and arguably, well, should be in a real good position to maybe take this game out.
Yeah, well, they've created a great opportunity with that cross from Wilkins that Lucas Derrick really attacked and buried it into the corner. It was a real high-quality header as the ball was headed in his direction as we're away here in the second half. So it's great to have you back on Friday night. NPL Victoria football, the NPL Australia match of the week. At the moment, it is the side that's won the Premier's Plate, the Premiership the last 3 years in a row, leading at Lakeside. They ended the home and away season with a win here at Lakeside against South Melbourne back in round 26 last year. And they've got themselves an early free kick.
Good chance here as well for Adrian Zara to put this ball into the box. And something South Melbourne won't want is to cop an early goal here in the second half. They were especially creating those goal-scoring opportunities in the first period. Now here is a good chance for Zara to whip this ball in towards the back post. He does, high up and under. It's a good delivery as well and pops out, and looks like it's going to be a corner here. And well, we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, obviously the quality on both benches, but as we said famously, Harry Noon, of course, isn't starting tonight, but South Melbourne, plenty of options themselves with Peter Skapetis, along with Melbourne Beckett. A few other options there can come in and change the game potentially. But it will be a good chance from the corner kick here for Heidelberg United.
It will be Ellis. This time near post delivery. Harrison Sawyer has planted himself at that front post and just dispatched of anything that's come into his area.
Harrison Sawyer, again, he's thrown his weight around so far tonight, was getting involved quite a fair bit early on. Just hasn't really been able to, again, as we said earlier, hasn't been able to get himself onto the ball inside the area, which is where he's so dangerous. So it's going to be a throw here for Heidelberg, and a long one into the box again. Flicked over the top, but it looks like it's going to be a free kick there for South Melbourne. There will be a chance for them to potentially break forward quickly here and get this ball over the top.
Once again, Heidelberg with that long throw into the box, just throwing it into the mixer, hoping to get to the knockdown. As Clark clears it, Sawyer trying to chest it down. It bounces off his chest and out for a throw.
Interesting there. It looks like Melbourne Beckett, either he's just got his bib off quickly to get himself changed or he's getting ready to come on shortly. So interesting to see. There's also a shout out as well in our comment section to the Dandenong Thunder under 15s. They're watching all the way from China. It's fantastic to see some of our future players maybe having a little bit of a taste of some round one action tonight, Chris.
It's great to some of those NPL junior clubs.
And now a chance here for the throw. And now an opportunity for Heidelberg just to maybe settle on this early in the second period. Ruben Way hasn't probably been able to get as advanced as he would have liked in that first half, but has certainly been solid defensively. Now Foley has come forward through midfield and come inside there towards Dimitri, giving away. Now Foley again, looks out wide and cut off really well there that time. There's an opportunity to come forward here on that right-hand side. But it will be a throw here again for South Melbourne, also for Heidelberg United. Again, it will be interesting to see just who can really get themselves on the front foot here in this second period. The ball is into the box now. Chance to cross potentially. Whipped in low and will be a goal kick. So now it's going to be a chance here for, again, South Melbourne to maybe get this ball forward quickly. Long and high there from Pierce Clark, over the top, Sawyer. Looks to flick on, cleared away again there. Now a chance here for Karoma underneath it. Ball held up potentially there. Now Zara coming forward here for Heidelberg United, and Adrian Zara just couldn't quite weasel his way through, and again cleared over the top. Again on the second ball there, it's Petri who finds Lucas Derrick. Turns inside, goes back to Way. Looks for a long high switch over the top. Ellis gets it down. Now Sean Ellis cuts in and just giving away again there that time. Now it's potentially an opportunity here again for South Melbourne. Well, you just got to say, Chris, either side has really come out here strong in this second period. And for South Melbourne at the minute, it's just a matter of how can they really get themselves back into this contest and start to create some goal-scoring opportunities. It's the ball's at the feet of Chris Theodoridis. He plays high and long over the top again, headed away. And there will be a throw here for Heidelberg United.
South Melbourne manager Esteban Quintus gets to show a bit of his skill to trap that ball in. As Heidelberg United, who over the last few years has been a slow starter to the season, enjoying this 1-0 scoreline at the moment. And we do have half-time over at J.L. Murphy Reserve, which unfortunately for Knights fans has seen a red card. It looked like it was to Matthew Breeze for a pretty robust challenge there on Lockie Roos, who has suffered a pretty serious injury, and we wish Roos all the best in his recovery. As Heidelberg try to move it forward, Marshall sliding challenge. Folan to Irwin, the early release to Cruceratus. Chance to move forward for South, that cross to the back post, and again it just eludes Harrison Sawyer, and Theodoridis sees it out for a goal kick.
Yeah, again there, South Melbourne just finally starting to get a little bit more traction out on that right-hand side. And Chris Aratis, who again started rather brightly, but more or less faded towards the end of that first half. That time there again, the delivery on the final ball has just been really lacking for South. Rain starting to come down here at Lakeside Stadium. Theodoridis goes long and high out wide, flicked on into the middle. Petri flicks over the top, but again, it's going to just roll out a play there. South Melbourne will pick it up with a throw. Now they look to go forward through the middle again, but given away, and a chance to break forward here for Heidelberg United. Good little drive as well on the ball. Karoma did himself just well enough to hold him up, and now an opportunity for Daniel Clark to come forward here through midfield. Now Irwin, bit of space to drive forward here for South Melbourne. Slips the ball in, good ball as well to Karoma, who's into the area. Theodoridis brought him down, but in the end it's going to be a corner. Well, he did just enough there, Chris Theodoridis, to get a good strong touch on that ball, because if he hadn't, he would have gone through Karoma. There would have been an almost certain penalty, Chris.
There was a good touch there from Karoma to see himself through, but coming out Theodoridis quick to see the danger, and he did get a strong hand to it. The ball deflected in the direction of a corner, so he definitely got a hand to it. So, great goalkeeping.
Well, again, the chance here on the corner kick, and South Melbourne just maybe starting to get themselves into some stride here. Daniel Clark to deliver. High ball in towards the back post, and the header on goal is just over the crossbar. It looks like it was Harrison Sawyer again, making himself known at the back post, but that time not able to direct the header on target. It is going to be a goal kick.
He has been threatening all night as Harrison Sawyer. And that's one thing about these two new strikers for both sides. They haven't really been prolific goal scorers in their careers so far, as they look to try to be the main men up front for both Heidelberg and South Melbourne. James Dimitri is the other guy at the other end. The ball gets away from him, but it will be a free kick for Heidelberg, and another chance to send some big bodies forward.
Yeah, again, just a silly foul to give away, and there has been a few of those late challenges, and well, in days gone by, again, this was a major strength of Heidelberg United, with the likes of Luke Biles and Stephen Pace attacking these balls into the box. Just see here if they can deliver this into the area. He's taken quickly, rather smartly, and not cleared properly as well. Deflected into the middle. Pierce Clark with a good reaction save. But in the end, it's cleared away. Heidelberg United almost there, adding to their lead, and a strong headed clearance there from El Mazi. And in the end, it is hoofed high and wide and out for a throw, but those are the half chances which Heidelberg United pride themselves on, and a good little smart change of body position there for Piers Clark to not only get a strong hand on the ball, but just direct it away from the oncoming strikers. And thankfully for the South Melbourne sake, they haven't conceded a second goal.
And the ricochet there could have really gone anywhere, but Clark did his job and his defenders cleared it. Heidelberg stay on the attack again. So they now look to go into midfield. Turn there as the ball comes forward and fired in. It's a great save. And Heidelberg are denied again by Clark.
Yeah, good dangerous play there from James Demetriou, and that's where he is quite effective in small, tight spaces. He's very nippy, especially in the box, and that time he just weaseled enough space there to get the shot off, but Piers Clark, to his credit, well defended at his near post, and a good chance now on the corner kick.
So going at Sean Ellis for Heidelberg, near post. Clark up in the air, and it's going to be the goalkeeper who can't get there. Ball spins back and bounces over the top. In fact, Jack Morgan may have eventually gave that foul, but Zara pleads his innocence.
It looks like there that time he just got maybe a little bit body checked, but surely you'd think your goalkeeper should be looking to claim those balls in the 6-yard boxes. South Melbourne are going to their bench very early, and it's Zachary Bates coming on, along with Melvin Beckett, and looks like coming off is Nick Cruceratis and Jerry Salados. So two interesting decisions there, of course. Zachary Bates, really quick, effective winger, very direct, maybe looking to add a bit of spark. Salados didn't quite get himself into the game, and neither did Cruceratis. So interestingly, two attacking-minded options. It looks like Melvin Beckett's going to get himself into midfield, and Chris Irwin will potentially push himself out wide.
Well, Zach Bates probably played his best game in the South Melbourne shirt last year against Heidelberg. One of the goal scorers in that 3-0 win at Olympic Village. As Beckett has shown how much of a tough tackling midfielder he is. Works extremely hard and was a really good signing halfway through the year. Spending a bit of time at Geelong Soccer Club and Altona. And become a real fan favourite in quick time here at Lakeside Stadium.
Very quick and nippy midfielder is Melvin Beckett, and very good at just getting on the ball and dictating the tempo, and that's what South have maybe lacked in their midfield a bit as Irwin goes down, and the referee has given a free kick, I believe. It looks like it was maybe harsh, and to be fair, it looks like it was inside the box from this angle. Now it's taken quickly, Beckett into the box, and, well, a little bit too quickly, says the referee there, Jack Morgan. But again there, Heidelberg, they just went in a little bit too firmly on Chris Irwin, and, well, really good opportunity now for a set piece. And, well, you've got to say, it's perfect free kick territory for someone of, well, they haven't got Marcus Schrone out there tonight. He's usually dangerous, but maybe Folan can get himself an early debut goal.
Well, that's the disadvantage with the Magic's foam these days, as the referee was lining everything up, wouldn't allow them to take it quickly. They do have the opportunity, Stephen Folan. And Brad Norton, two left-footed options. Folan curls it. Over the top it goes.
Yeah, disappointing set piece there. You could say almost maybe too close to goal to really get that ball up and over the wall. Maybe you should be getting a right-sided player on it from that position and just drill it in at the keeper's side, see if he can react quickly enough. But again, Folan, he's been rather impressive in their midfield. I don't think he's really been able to get himself on the ball as much, but certainly tough tackling and has marshalled Dusan Bosniak quite well. I don't think he's really had much of the ball. The big number 8 for Heidelberg United as it's played in quickly, and chance here to come forward through midfield. Bosniak was brought down. The referee does say it's going to be a free kick here, so another chance here for Heidelberg to potentially get a ball into the box.
And Bosniak has won a couple of fouls in pretty decent areas, but we know with Heidelberg United, who are such a strong set-piece side, Bosniak is pretty slow to pick himself up. I think there's incidental that contact with Melvin Beckett while he was already on the grounds. Very slow to move himself forward. Heidelberg commit a few extra numbers forward. Will be Ellis. Demetriou and Lucas Derrick the target. Derrick has shielded it well. And he's got a couple of blue shirts in front of him and almost found his way through. Ball ricocheted into the box. Luckily got it clear and a good little touch there for Clark. And away goes South Melbourne. Zach Bates looking for Sawyer. The early ball is cut out, but the ball ricochets back to him. And getting his body in the right way is Adrian Zara, who tracked back well.
Yeah, great defending there from Adrian Zara. And Zach Bates, for a second there, looked like he might have had the break on the Heidelberg defence and was driving forward. Just unfortunate with a maybe rushed delivery into that central area towards the big man in Sawyer. But he certainly has that capacity to add a bit of spark, as we've mentioned already. That time there, just wasn't quite able to get the leg up on Zara, who's quite nippy himself and used his body really well there to defend as the ball goes high and long forward. Bosniak looks underneath it. Marshall again, strong in the air. Sawyer fighting for every ball that goes his way. Now it goes all the way back there to the Heidelberg goalkeeper and Chris Theodoridis. He looks up and goes high and long out wide towards Ellis. Headed down by Norton. Beckett in the air again. The ball comes down and Norton looks to get it forward, but cleared away high up and under. Norton in the end is judged to have fouled Sean Ellis, who only just earlier went off with a head knock, and he's down again there with a harsh challenge. There will be a free kick for Heidelberg.
Just quickly around the grounds again. Adelaide United 0, Central Coast Mariners 0 after 58 minutes. And the second half of Port Melbourne versus Melbourne Knights has kicked off. Still 0-0 there, but Melbourne Knights are down to 10 men with Matthew Breeze getting his marching orders.
Yeah, it was an unfortunate incident there as well. Apparent broken leg from the resulting challenge, so hopefully it's not too bad from what it seemed like. Always difficult, especially first game of the season. You've done such a long pre-season, you're ready to go. Now Beckett there, was that a handball? Referee says yes.
The linesman was quick to flag it. So it's another, as you said, another dangerous area, and that apparent serious injury has happened to Lachlan Ruse, new signing from Preston. So we do hope that he has a smooth recovery, but it's obvious he's going to miss quite a bit of football.
How unfortunate that is, and as a footballer who had a few very serious injuries, it's always very difficult, especially so early in the year, to cop something that serious. But hopefully, fingers crossed, gets himself on the mend quickly, as it is a free kick here in a dangerous area, and Sean Ellis is standing over this, and well, he's got a number of targets in the middle. He goes direct to goal himself and just sort of hit that back corner of the box net there. It sometimes from this side can look like it almost might have settled into the back of the net, but again, wasn't quite able to hit the target. And I've got to say, Heidelberg, they're in a comfortable position at the moment. Haven't really been tested as such early in this second half, and just there in those set pieces, unable to really hit the target, but probably looking the more control of the two sides at the minute.
What do you believe South Melbourne have to do to try to change the direction of this game? Well,
we just sort of said, I think, a little bit earlier that the issue has been just not really being able to keep the ball for long periods in midfield and really link up to get the likes of Daniel Clark on the ball in the final third, the likes of Zach Bates or even Chris Irwin now on the other side in the final third, attacking their fullback, and you just see maybe looked a little bit out of options when trying to play forwards, and well, it's just going to be something which they need to try and open up this Heidelberg defence. A good little combination there, but again, just breaking down as they've tried to break the ball forward, and Heidelberg defending resolutely, to be fair, just need to keep compact and keep shape.
Just feel that South Melbourne have to get players a little bit closer to Harrison Sawyer, who's winning a lot of those balls in the air, and his flick-ons are, it's very hard to find his teammates who are a little bit separated away from him.
He's quite an isolated figure tonight, as you said, and the likes of Daniel Clark, he is someone who likes to buzz around a bigger sort of striker and get himself facing forwards and driving in at goal, and you can just see every time Sawyer's gone near the ball, Clark has been nowhere near him, and that's something which is as a result of South having so much of the ball so deep down the ground. You can even see it now on the screen in front of you there. Sawyer's so isolated. Daniel Clark's dropping in almost at right back now to receive the ball. When Sawyer does get it, he hasn't really got the options around him. Here's a long ball over the top, and that's a good little knock there, though. And Norton can attack here into this space, but well defended there by Ellis. And he'll drive forward here through midfield as well, and was clipped. And there will be a free kick here for Heidelberg. Just got to say, Chris, they're just not asking enough questions of this Heidelberg defence. really, I think it's been quite comfortable for Dumbalis and the new signing Bar at centre-back. And they really haven't been tested all that much other than the first 15 minutes.
Well, historically, these are the games that Heidelberg really don't let loose. They keep this tight grip on a game when they get that goal. There's plenty of times over the last 3 years that they've been up against it and still managed to hold a side out and not score. And then once the game slows down a bit, they get on the scoreboard. And it's a results-driven business. And George Kitsakis' men for the last 3 years has got more points than anybody as Lucas Derrick into the box. And Karoma's done well to get it clear for a corner.
Yeah, good chance there. Again, Lucas Derrick is someone else who is so dangerous when he gets on the ball in those dangerous areas, and he was able to drive so well. So that change is being made, and it's going to be Harry Noon who comes in, and James Dimitri, who looks like he's going to go off. So his Heidelberg United debut is cut short here. Decent enough performance from Dimitri. I think that he just wasn't really able to influence the game and again, get himself on the ball in those dangerous areas. We saw it once or twice in and around the box, but not really consistent enough to make an impact. And Harry Noon, this is a good game for him to come into now. If he's fresh and he's confident physically, he could certainly come in and cause some problems here for Heidelberg.
And he gets the booze from the Clarendon corner. The South Melbourne fans. He's a divisive figure for South fans, and Heidelberg is a player from one of his greatest rivals.
Well, no better way to introduce yourself than maybe a goal here as the ball's whipped in towards the back post, and it was Noon who got himself on the end of that header, but just wasn't quite able to direct it. And he's going to go out for a goal kick, and now South Melbourne look like they're about to make their final change as well. And it looks like it's going to be Peter Skipetis to come on. And looks like Daniel Clark is going to make way. And again, Chris just wasn't quite able to get himself in on the ball in dangerous areas, Daniel Clark, tonight.
Just as he sort of moved a bit more advanced in this second half, he just couldn't get close enough to Harrison Sawyer. Had a couple of chances early from long range, which he put over the top, and a couple that was well blocked as well. But a decent enough start for Daniel Clark.
It's always difficult as a number 10 if the ball's not being kept in the final third. It's very difficult to really get on the ball in a dangerous area, and unfortunately for Clark, he just wasn't really able to influence the game as much as he would have liked. And that's where South Melbourne, they broke down like that last season as well, and you would have hoped maybe a bit of work was done to try and integrate that front four a little bit more so, especially on the ball in the final third. There's going to be a throw here in a dangerous area.
So Norton to throw it back in for South Melbourne. In the end goes long. Sawyer's bundled out of it. Ball bounces up in the air to Umbalis. Tries to get it clear. Norton, edge of the box, sliced by Lucas Derrick. And now South Melbourne will be able to get the ball in midfield. Swollen goes back to Marshall. Now Almazi for South Melbourne. So again, Heidelberg do well to get the ball back. Trying to start a bit of a counter. The ball's cut out. Melvin Beckett. Early ball is going to find Bates. Chance for Zach Bates now for South. And Amadou Karoma. Once again, the build-up's just a little bit too slow for South Melbourne, and now they give it away.
Yeah, Melvin Beckett there again. He's getting himself in on the ball, but a poor giveaway and a chance here to break here for Wilkins, who gets it out wide, and now maybe some space here for Harry Noon, and this is where he's dangerous, Noon. He'll get a shot on goal towards the back post, but just wasn't able to catch hold of it. And well, for South Melbourne there again, as we said, just when they're looking to break into that final third, they just look out of options. And that time there, Beckett with a misplaced pass, and Heidelberg breaking forward really efficiently.
Well, it's a bit too comfortable, that long straight ball for Lachlan Barr to cut out. Tumbalis swings his boot at it, but Norton will get there and control it. Again, tries to go up the line. It's well flicked on. Here's a chance for South Melbourne if it sits. For Chris Irwin. Flashes it into Sawyer. And in the end, he couldn't direct it goalward.
Yeah, that's the chance you're looking for. And Harrison Sawyer, he's been waiting for that moment all night. And unfortunately, it just looked like he'd mistimed his run where he was receiving it. He was already sort of ahead of the goal and the ball. Chris Irwin into that pocket really well. And it was a decent delivery as well. But as we said, unfortunately for Sawyer, just sort of caught the ball as his body shape wasn't really facing goal. As final change is made there, or second change, sorry, is made there by Heidelberg United as well.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to be Amir Abdallah, who's crossed from Northcote City.
For Heidelberg, coming on, number 21, Amir Abdallah.
looks like he's replaced Sean Ellis. Interesting decision there from George Katsakis. Again, Ellis had a little bit of an impact in the first half, maybe faded a bit more so in the second. Abdullah, certainly a very nippy and quick player. Different sort of dynamic to what Sean Ellis gives you, which is a little bit more of a technical winger who cuts inside and looks to create.
Ball finds its way to Bates. Once again, that slow build-up sees them back across to their centre-backs.
Well, look, you can just see here again, just the options of receiving the ball in midfield. Heidelberg are doing really well just contracting and compressing that lock in the centre, although Melvin Beckett's got himself into a good space here.
Chance for Norton to try to cross it. It's deflected up. And we'll go out for a corner as Clarendon corner is in full voice.
Well, you've got to say, Melvin Beckett, that's the situation there where he's driven really well into space, and that's something which we haven't seen too much of from South after the first 15 or so minutes. And to be fair to Beckett, that's what he's very good at. That time there, picked out the run of Norton well, and now a good chance on the corner kick.
Chris Irvin across to take it. Harrison Sawyer and Dusan Bosnak opposed to each other near post this time. It's easy for Heidelberg to try to get it clear. Beckett, first time ball. Ball's going to harmlessly find back for South, who go for the cross one. Skapetis, it's taken away from him. And now Heidelberg look to try to attack.
Again there, the delivery just a little bit shallow and well defended by Petri that time. But again, just long balls over the top and just no real ability to try and find feet there for South Melbourne when they're trying to build forward into the final third. And Derek now coming forward through midfield is Zara. He just holds it up and hasn't really got his fullback in an advanced position to receive the ball. In the end, it's given away there and high up and under again, but Sawyer was coming from an offside position. The linesman's flag is raised, and it is going to be a Heidelberg United free kick. But that's what we're talking about, Chris. We just saw it in there again. When they're getting in towards that final third, just a lack of structured movement when they're trying to play and create those overloads either in wide areas or central. Just a little clip ball into the middle, which has just been dealt with so easily by the Heidelberg back four.
They look like they're just trying to go to Sawyer with those clip balls and lofted balls a little bit too much when they've got so much creativity around him. If they move the ball out wide to Bates or the overlapping Norton on the far side, they've got opportunities with Chris Irwin as well. So South Melbourne just getting stuck playing the same old thing time and time again, and it's quite comfortable for Heidelberg.
Again, that's where South have created their best chances, have been from those wide areas, and it's just interesting to see why they haven't really pursued that as much as the ball's over the top and headed clear. You've got to say for Heidelberg, as we said, they're looking pretty comfortable. South have had little snippets at times of maybe getting themselves into the game, but you just think with 20 minutes remaining, what can they really do to try and get themselves a bit more in this contest, as that ball does roll out for a goal kick.
So Abdullah and Noon just couldn't quite combine. Pierce Clark looks to try to start things quickly. Just around the grounds, an hour gone at JL Murphy Reserve. Still no goal there, no goal in the A-League as well. So I guess out of the big Friday night games, we're the only one with a goal, Brandon.
And you wouldn't be mistaken for thinking this was a 0-0 as well. There's been very little chances created by either side. And as you said, Heidelberg took theirs through Lucas Derrick in that first half. Now, again, South Melbourne's response is Sawyer. A lot of his chances have been, a lot of the times he's gotten on the ball, being back to goal with not much around him. But that's a good little move there. And again, brought down was Adrian Zara. He's been really impressive tonight for me. He's been really dynamic in getting forward. And a yellow card there for Bradley Norton as well. So another free kick opportunity here for Heidelberg.
Yeah, he's been a great player and a great player for a long time as Adrian Zara. We all know the injury problems he's had for a professional career. What a fantastic servant he's been in Victorian football, particularly with Heidelberg, a real strong member of this all-conquering squad, which has pretty much been the best era of football for Heidelberg United. If you look at the trophies, I'll go through the decade of trophies for both sides shortly.
Looks like George Katsakis was shown a yellow card there as well, which is a first around football for 2020. Coaches and officials can be shown yellow and red cards now. Of course, coaches had always been able to be sent off, but the physical showing of a yellow card was given there to Katsakis. No doubt for a few words post that decision.
Cross comes in. Bosnak heads the ball in the wrong direction. In the end, the ball gets cleared. Wilkins out wide. Abdullah trying to get past, bit of trickery. Goes across the box. It's a good save by Clark, and Peter Skipetis will take it away.
Now a good chance here to break for South Melbourne, and Skipetis looks out wide. Irwin under some pressure there. Just nipped the ball around Ruben Way, but I'm not sure who was really looking for there, and it was given away. Now an opportunity here for Heidelberg to get the ball forward themselves. Bosniak looks into a central area. Strong challenge there from Norton. First to the ball. Again, cleared away. Now Bosniak as well. Under some pressure. Goes back to Noon and a high up and under. Ball over the top. That looks like it might be a foul against Almazi, but not given. Now again, intercepted, and a chance here for Heidelberg to get in towards the final third with Derek having a strike, but that time there, well over the bar and out for a goal kick. And yet again, South Melbourne breaking into the final third, but just not quite able to create that goal-scoring chance.
It's a good turn here from Beckett to move it forward. It's a lot of work for Irwin to do to get to that one. Dumbalis gets there first, and the deflection takes it out for a Heidelberg throw. And I've just said, what a decade of football it's been for Heidelberg United and South Melbourne. They've played 21 times. South Melbourne's won 10, 4 draws, 7 to Heidelberg. Look at the trophies for South Melbourne: a Community Shield, a Doherty Cup, 2 NPL Premiers, and 1 NPL Championship, and a FFA Cup semi-finalist. And for Heidelberg United, a Community Shield, a Doherty Cup, an NPL Australia Championship, NPL Premiers 3 years in a row, NPL Champions 2018, and FFA Cup quarterfinalists on quarterfinalists on 2 occasions.
Yeah, certainly been an exceptional era for both of these sides. Again, for South Melbourne's sake, getting themselves back to the forefront of Victorian football will be a massive task. Of course, with all the talk of the National Second Division coming in the next few years, they'll certainly be one of the main clubs banging on the door. But the football program, post-CT era, has been a bit of a struggle for them as Norton looks to drive forward here under some pressure. And there, he lashes out now. Norton is on a yellow card. And this could mean this night goes from bad to worse. Or at least I thought he was on a yellow card. But
I don't think he was the one who got one a few minutes ago. It might have gone to Marshall.
Yes, you're right. Well, luckily enough.
Marshall, after that challenge, took off and tried to get away from Morgan. So,
well, luckily enough for Brad Norton, I was going to say, it would have been a real issue of experience there, which is not something which I would have thought was commonplace with a player of his many games in the NPL. But again, just a bit of frustration there from Brad Norton. A silly foul, really, just giving away and lashing out. There's again, chance for Heidelberg just to settle and just disrupt the flow of the game.
Into that final 15 minutes here at Lakeside Stadium. It's ball through the middle. Theodorides will surely take his time. It's one of those dark arts of a goalkeeper when you're winning 1-0, when you get towards that final 15 minutes, to take as long as you possibly can to pick up the ball. Now clear it.
High and long ball as well. Underneath it was Marshall. Headed clear. Now a chance here underneath the ball. Bates. Was it a high boot? No, says the referee. So now a chance to come forward here for Zara. And Bosniak slips in really well. Abdullah into the box. And it looks like Almazi did just enough to put him off. And you would have thought maybe if Abdullah had just nipped in ahead of him, he could have forced some contact. But Marshall just did enough to put him off there and for the ball to go out for a goal kick.
And of course, the NPL kicked off last night, as we said. Oakley 3-1 winners over Avondale. It's still 0-0 between Port Melbourne and the Melbourne Knights after 65 minutes. And there's plenty of football over the weekends, including the Dandenong Derby tomorrow night.
Massive one that is as well. Two sides who, again, had, at the end of the day, conflicting seasons. Dandenong started very poorly last campaign, but of course the famous trio of A-League signings, and Adrian Leah, Brendan Sanslab and Carl Valeri went in and very much helped to steady the ship. But again, it will be interesting to see just how they start this campaign. Of course, in the Thunder, Brandon Barnes makes his, would say, awaited return, but really he just hasn't left. Well, we thought that he was going to go.
And also a couple of signings that were signed by Oakley but have ended up at Dandenong Thunder in Giuseppe Marafiotti, which South Melbourne fans will be familiar with. And Harley Orr from Perth Soccer Club, who people who've watched the NPL for quite a while, my best advice is probably look at a guy like Wayne Wallace. That's the type of player he is, and he's going to be the heartbeat of that Thunder midfield. That game will be tomorrow night, 7 o'clock kickoff. This ball's out wide and out for a throw. Also tomorrow night, Hume City versus Altona Magic. It's across his ill-directed. And then it is Eastern Lions' first home game, but they're not playing at home. Ground, unfortunately, a little bit unfit. It was Gardner Creek Reserve. As Skapetis gives away the foul, and that game's been switched. So Bentley will host an away game at Kingston Heath, and St Albans Saints versus Green Gully to round up round 1 of NPL Victoria.
Yeah, more certainly. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on Eastern Lions, of course. Their first game in the top flight of Victorian football in their history. And again, it's almost been a bit of an underdog story. The club with not much in the way of funding, and they started in the lower leagues, of course, down in the depths of State League 3 when Jimmy Williams first came to the club back over a decade ago now, but he's done such a fantastic job to get them up into the league, into the top division, and a few good signings as well. Daniel McLennan from Pauline and Amiros Mancevic as well from Mornington, a few players of NPL experience, but there is certainly a lot of talk about how they'll go in the top flight. As Skapetis, he gets that bit of room now, and this could be dangerous here for South Melbourne. Chris Irwin on the edge of the box. He could strike. It's deflected. Now the referee is given a handball.
Well, Lockie Barr did have his hands up in front of his face. He surely didn't want to get that wet football, smash him straight in the nose, but he did have his hands up. And Jack Morgan says, I've got no choice, I've got to give it. And it's going to open up a great opportunity for Stephen Folan, who looks to place the ball on the spot to try to get South Melbourne level here at Lakeside Stadium as we're in the final 10 minutes. Maybe it's the best opportunity for them to get a goal from a set piece.
Well, again, this was that chance we were talking about. Skapetis just picking the ball up in a dangerous enough area to attack, and Chris Irwin was in a good shooting position there as well. Was well defended in the end. Unfortunately, getting a hand up was Barr, but this is a really good opportunity, and you've got to say, massive for South Melbourne now.
He can become a bit of a hero in his first game for the club, the Irishman. Stephen Folan, a decorated junior career at Newcastle United in the English Premier League. He's got that left foot standing over the ball to try to get South Melbourne level. Fires it, and it's just wide. A great effort from Folan, trying to go through the wall, and almost worked.
Well, again, that's what we were talking about earlier, when the free kick's that close to goal, just driving it and keeping the goalkeeper honest on his side, especially with so many numbers in front of him. That's going to be something which is difficult, and I got good purchase on it for a moment. It looked like it might have found the back of the net, but to be fair to Chris Theodoridis, he had his angles covered really well, as it looks like the final change is being made now by Heidelberg United, and it is Jack Petri who comes off. He's been a really solid exponent in that midfield today. And it looks like he's being replaced by...
It might be number 18, is it? It looks like Anthony
Theo, yeah, from Kingston City last year.
We just had to check our notes there. The team sheet had him as 17, but he's definitely got the number 18 shirt on.
Good chance now here, South Melbourne. The question is, what have they got in the tank? So synonymous with the Chris Taylor South Melbourne era of being able to get themselves out of pockets like this and get results, but again, synonymous with Heidelberg's successful era has been hanging on to results like this and getting the 3 points. As the ball comes in through midfield, that's a good ball forward there to Abdullah, and he's got a bit of a chance to break, but again, just given away that time with his distribution, and now a chance for South Melbourne to go forward.
They do go forward through Beckett. It's behind Irwin. Just miscommunication between the two. And the captain, Ruben Way, will see that out for a throw.
Again there, just poorly executed going forward. And I just find that South Melbourne, they're really narrow at the moment. I'm not sure if Irwin's playing out wide or he's playing as number 10. Skapetis is playing a little bit wider there. But when they're receiving in midfield, it just looks really compact. And again, just lacking that structural decision-making at the minute. You just see here at the moment, I believe it looks like they've almost gone to through the back, but Irwin sitting so central. It looks like they're playing two strikers now. That ball's clipped in dangerously. Bosniak, the keeper's come off his line. He hasn't got there. And it is 2-0 for Heidelberg United. Surely it wraps up the points. And Dusan Bosniak with an outstanding finish on his starting debut. And well, for Heidelberg United, that was the moment to kill off the game. A poor giveaway in midfield. And that is the finish. Bosniak is on the score sheet. And it is now 2-0 for Heidelberg United.
What a finish there by Bosniak. Goalkeeper coming towards him. Had to lift it over the top. And it's dropped into the back of the net. And it seems like it's going to be a great start to the season for Heidelberg United. And South Melbourne players hands on hips. They're losing 2-0 at home here in the derby.
And again, just that clinical chance. They haven't had too many clear-cut opportunities in this game, Heidelberg. But that time there, Pierce Clark, he was sort of caught in a bit of no man's land. He couldn't quite get out to the ball over the top. But a really smart and a composed finish there from Bosniak. Now for South Melbourne, it really is looking like same old story. Well, really, the pressure's already going to start to mount here. You can hear the frustration already so far. But Heidelberg, they've taken their chances and now in box position for a fantastic first result of the season. Also
taking their chances is Hamish Watson at JL Murphy Reserve. His goal gives the 10-man Melbourne Knights the lead. So a couple of goals flying in NPL Victoria. But South Melbourne, it's been a disappointing start to the season, a real disappointing night, particularly in attack.
Well, that's what I was thinking before coming into this. You know, what has the reaction been over the off-season? How has Esteban Quintas imposed himself and his style of football on this squad? And to be honest, Chris, you know, it's hard to be blunt, but I just haven't really seen enough of a change from last year. And well, hopefully maybe it was a bit of first game jitters, but, you know, they just haven't really looked like they've had that absolute knowledge of how to break a side down and structured build-up hasn't really been there, and you're going to see now a bit of frustration starting to come over the top for both these sides.
Another flashpoint and another yellow card.
Well, this is what Heidelberg will want, just to slow the game down and slow the tempo down a little bit more as well. South Melbourne, only minutes remaining here. It's starting to get to that last chance scenario.
Here's the goal scorer, Dusan Bosniak, who's been booked, who is now trying to walk away gingerly and has hit the turf himself. And pick himself back up again. So set piece for South Melbourne. It's, in fairness, it's looked their best bet all night to trouble Chris Theodoridis' Heidelberg goal.
The delivery here is so important.
Heidelberg with all their players back in the box. Cross comes in, and that's easily to be dealt with by Harry Noon.
Story of the night tonight for South Melbourne. As we mentioned earlier, their biggest strength you'd think is maybe being on set pieces and delivery into the box, but they just haven't found that ability to find any targets with them, and the distribution of that there, just absolutely terrible. Not even beating the first man as well. For players at this level, really should be able to hit the target, at least getting a good ball into the box for someone to attack. Well, again, so many areas which you've got to say you'd be a little bit disappointed with tonight from South Melbourne. As you said earlier, Chris, it's all been in that final third, but it could change here with Chris Irwin driving into the box now, and a chance potentially to whip into the box, but Heidelberg again defending resolutely, and it will be a corner kick here for South Melbourne.
Once again, that cutback was cut off. South will throw as many numbers forward as they possibly can. They're just going to leave Amadou Karoma back. So trying to get a bit of late drama here at Lakeside Stadium. It's a very overpopulated penalty box. Cross comes in, headed away, edge of the box. Heidelberg get it clear over the top. Zara, and he'll be able to take it away himself as Karoma backs off, and it's Melvin Beckett to chase, and in the end Karoma's done well. He waited his time and then made the challenge at the right moment.
Yeah, well defended there in that one-on-one situation. It's always tough for Zara when you've got to know you've got to sprint 80 metres. You can't really just burst past your opponent. To be fair to Karoma, he just gave himself enough time to allow Zara to maybe run out of that burst, and Melvin Beckett, of course, was absolutely chasing him down as well. But again, Heidelberg, they've defended really strongly, and again on the counter-attack there, just maybe a little bit unlucky not to get a few extra numbers around the ball.
Cross comes in again. Skipetis couldn't direct it towards goal. Heidelberg through Harry Noon. In the end, they lose out. Derek on defensive duties. Now Beckett. South Melbourne desperate to create something here. It's going to be Captain Norton to cross it in, but once again ill-directed as we once again go around the grounds. It is Adelaide United with 2 goals in 2 minutes. They lead Central Coast after 86 minutes, and 15-year-old Mohamed Toure has scored for Adelaide United. Obviously the younger brother of Al Hassan Toure.
Hearing some massive things coming out of the Adelaide United camp around Toure, and well, could be a potential star in the making there. Well, again, someone who I'm sure South Melbourne would love to uncover a prospect like that. Is chance here for Abdullah coming forward. He's weaseled his way through really well there, and it could be a chance potentially for a ball whipped into the middle, falls out the back, and a strike on goal is into the bottom corner from Lucas Derrick. It's game, set, and match here for Heidelberg United. 3 goals to 0. Lucas Derrick has a double, and well, for South Melbourne, there is a lot of soul searching to do after tonight. The perfect start to the season for the Burgers. And what a cool, calm and composed finish that was from Lucas Derrick, placing it into the corner. And well, Heidelberg United, they've taken their chances here in the second period, and South Melbourne just absolutely devastated with that. Big way to go for them, Chris.
Well, there's a lot of talk in pre-season that Heidelberg would eventually drop off with the experience and the stars that they have lost out of this squad. This is their response against one of their biggest rivals at Lakeside Stadium, 3-0 up. And George Katsakis' men are on fire here in round 1 and going to show that they are definitely in the title races once again in season 2020.
Well, massive signs here, and again, you always want to get yourself underway, and sometimes a derby is the best possible avenue to just get that early confidence-boosting win. And well, for Heidelberg, they've just been the more professional of the two sides, I think, tonight. And now, again, potentially a chance to break forward, but given away there. Now Heidelberg can come forward through midfield, through Harry Noon, given away, and Heidelberg can recycle the ball.
They do so with Zara. The ball's one back, though. Once again, an ill-directed pass from Melvin Beckett, whose passing's been a bit off since coming on. So a bit disappointing that he hasn't been able to have the impact which they would have liked. So Heidelberg throw it back in. Harry Noon looking to control it. All out wide as the ball sliding challenge comes in and goes out for a corner.
Again, Heidelberg, they've just got their backs up now, and they're really looking like they've got a lot of confidence. And again, for South Melbourne, you mentioned the fact that Beckett's passing has been off. And look, I will tend to agree, but unfortunately for him, he just hasn't really had the options on whenever he's gotten the ball to try and play forwards and play to feed. And I'm really interested to see how South have set up in the second half, because since they made those changes, they've almost gone to 2 strikers up front. They've lost a lot of their width. They haven't really been able to create any chances of any significance in the second half. And again, you just got to think, what is the plan B? When plan A is not working, I don't know really what plan A was, to be fair with tonight. It looked like initially they were going to overload in wide areas and look to create. Once that sort of dried up, there was just no sort of second option there for South Melbourne to create. And even Harry Sawyer, hasn't really been cited in this second period after starting so strongly.
Another one for me is the way that Lucas Derrick has played this game and the way he responded after that ACL injury, but we'll stay with the play momentarily as Heidelberg. Well, now they get it back through Lockie Barr and Zara over the top.
Good ball.
Abdullah's forward, but his first touch is going to send it wide, and Clark slides in. Once again, the Hoardings is quite close, but he did give it a fearful kick in frustration.
Yeah, no, Lucas Derrick, just going back to your earlier point, he's been exceptional tonight, and I think he hasn't really, again, been able to get as involved as he even could have been. But, he's taken his chances so well. The header in the first half was fantastic. The finish there at the end, albeit looking simple, difficult skill, that ball's coming at you, it's bouncing in the box, you're under pressure with players running at you. He was just so cool and composed in finishing that. And to be fair to him, he had a strong second half of the year since coming back from that ACL. Now, with a full pre-season under his belt, it makes a world of difference. Really could see a big year coming out of him for this season.
Well, we have seen players like Elvis Kamsoba make their way to the A-League. Heidelberg's Kenny Athew. So why not Lucas Derrick to get back into that system? As we said, both him and Jerry Salados at the Melbourne City youth teams, before now becoming really exciting players in the NPL. But it's full time here, Brandon.
Yeah, full time it is in Heidelberg United. What a result for them to start the season. And you've got to say, fully deserved after South Melbourne started more or less with some sort of stronger, I guess, belief and idea of how they can break a team down and how they can create. The second half, I think, was a really difficult one for them. There was just no options coming out. You maybe thought at half-time, going into the rooms, a few changes tactically. Maybe they can isolate a few areas to hurt Heidelberg, but there was just nothing really of any substance created. And look, that one half chance for Harry Sawyer off that ball in from Chris Irwin in the second half was the only real moment of threat from open play other than a few set pieces. And again, for South, you've just got to say scratching heads, but full credit to Heidelberg as well. You've got to say, they've done what they do so well. It was always the telling point was going to be, what's the transition going to be like with Biles and Pace leaving the side? Are they going to be as experienced, as vocal at the back and as calm? And they were, and they took their chances really well tonight as well.
A fantastic performance from Heidelberg United. They've answered the pre-season critics by playing on the green thing in front of us, so that's what Heidelberg United do best. George Katsakis' men are off to a flyer with a 3-0 victory. And what a game it's been here at Lakeside Stadium on the NPL Victoria live streams. There's still 15 minutes to go at JL Murphy Reserve. It is Port Melbourne 0, Melbourne Knights 1, with Melbourne Knights with a red card. So an exciting finish coming up then if you guys want to jump over on that stream. But for Chris Gleeson and Brandon Galgano here on Friday night at Lakeside, it's good night.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, mate, honestly.